Hey guys, if your clients aren't quite yet ready to go back to blonde and they're still holding out for spring or summer, then I'm going to show you how we freshen up my client's hair just by blending in her roots and toning down her brassiness. So keep watching how to tackle this service. You guys can follow me over on Instagram at Christy@thecottage. Here's my client's before. You can see she's got quite a bit of roots growing out now as we've just been blending her hair the last few times that we've done her services. So for this service, I'm going to be using Schwarzkopf Blonde Me with 20 and 7 volume to make more of like a 10 to 15 volume. That way we don't damage her already lightened ends. And I'm going to be using Olaplex. So I noticed when she came in that she kind of already has a color that blends with her roots. From the last time she was here, we blended her roots with like a root shadow. So that's kind of what that kind of warmer shade is. And so because of that, she already has a color that blends really nicely. We're not going to do a heavy hairline foil. She kind of likes where she's sitting at right now, being kind of more rooty and a little bit more natural. Normally we do really ashier tones, but because of that warmth that's in that root shade that kind of blended from last time, I'm not trying to go super cool. So instead of doing the typical hairline foil that we normally do all around her hairline, I'm just going to take a few little sections right on her forehead and we're going to weave it and back comb it. And we're just going to blend this into her roots. We're not going to take it all the way up to the scalp. And then I'm also going to repeat the same thing, just like one larger section, weave it and back comb it directly at her temples. And that's all I'm going to do for her hairline. And that's going to brighten it back up a little bit more, kind of blend it into her roots. So that way, when she pulls her hair back, she's still going to have a little bit more brightness right there, but it's not necessarily going to go all the way up to her scalp and her temples. So it's still going to be nice, soft, and subtle and blend really nicely into her roots. So in this little section right here, I'm just going to take kind of a larger triangle section. It's not super big, but just big enough. And I'm going to weave it and back comb it. And we're going to over direct it and pull it forward. And this is going to make it so that it gradually gets a little bit brighter towards the front of her face. And it's just going to softly add a little bit more of a natural blend, just kind of softly diffusing that line from her hairline foils right at these front little pieces that we did in the money piece area. And it's just going to softly blend, just feather back a little bit more. Over directing is really good for kind of adding a little bit more dimension versus just like if you hold it straight up, then you're going to kind of have all of that hair meet at the same place. Like the brightness is going to not diffuse as nicely. You're going to have a little bit harsher of a line of demarcation. So if you over direct the hair and pull it more forward, then that will kind of have it softly blend a little bit more brighter towards the face. And then when you like brush the hair down and everything, it's going to softly just kind of feather a little bit darker towards the back part of that section. I don't know if that makes sense, but so you can see here what I was saying about just doing this one little foil on her temple area. You can see it a little bit better on this side. So it is a little bit bigger, but we are going to weave it and back comb it. And then she is going to have a little bit more of a section directly on her hairline. And this little weaved section behind it is going to blend really nicely. She's not going to feel like she has any harsh lines or anything because that front piece is of her natural. So this is all going to blend really nicely and blend into her roots, but still feel like she's brightening up just a little bit more. So now that we're starting with the balayage, I'm going to go exactly where she parts her hair. And you can see that I'm taking a pretty large section. I'm not really trying to lighten her hair too much, where I would want to take really small sections to make sure that we can break through brassiness. But our main focus really is to just blend those roots a little bit more. She really liked the idea of maintaining her roots, especially this time of the year still. Like, we're kind of in that transitional, like, we're getting ready for spring, but it's really not quite yet time to go back to blonde. And she's been blonde for so long, the last few years we've done her hair. We've always lightened it, that she's kind of really been liking the more natural and rooty look. So for the service today, we're just really trying to focus on making sure that she still feels more natural and has more of her dimensional color in there, and not like we're trying to get her nice and bright and cool and ashy, which is what we normally try to do. We're trying to be a little bit softer on her hair, so that way when the time comes that we do go brighter and it is summer and she wants to go blonde and she wants to be nice and cool, her hair will be healthier to be able to do that and accomplish that without feeling like she's going to compromise her hair or anything. So we're just going to take these sections. They're kind of large. We're going to leave some larger subsections in between. And we're really just going to do probably 3 to 4 backcombed weaved, some pretty larger sections. And we're going to do a handful of these panels on either side. And you can see in this section that I'm trying to preserve any depth that's already there. So you can see right here, I'm kind of already just going over these previously lightened areas, and that dark piece right in the center, I'm just trying to maintain that. So anywhere you see any dark that's already existing, like, just leave it. Don't try to brighten it up, because that's not our intention right now. We're really just trying to help blend her roots a little bit more, so that way she doesn't feel like she has, like, such a disconnection between color, where she's super kind of brighter through the ends, but then all these dark roots. So we're really just trying to break up her roots a little bit more. She still wants to stay kind of more natural, but just kind of blend a little bit. So we're just going to pop a few of these sections in and call it good. And then just do maybe like 2 or 3 in the back. And then we're not even going to paint through the ends really, because we're not trying to relighten her hair. So we're just going to do this and then let this finish processing for probably maybe like 20 minutes or so. Her hair doesn't need to get too light or anything, so she doesn't need to process for too long. And I realize that I say not paint through the ends to brighten them up. And what I mean when I say that is that normally when I'm doing someone's hair, after their hair is all foiled, all of the hair that's kind of laying out, I'll kind of do more of an open air balayage to brighten those ends up. So that's what I mean when I say I'm not even going to go through and paint through the ends of her hair. I'm just going to leave whatever's in the foils and leave it at that. I'm not going to then go through and paint the dropout sections, is what I was referring to. In case somebody asks, the reason why I was going back and forth from side to side for each section, that's because I want to really make sure when I'm at the part area or the top section of the head, I want to kind of give that the same opportunity to lighten at the same time and make sure that everything's nice and even. But then also I want to be sure that I have balance and that I'm taking the same size of section. I know there's times where I'm foiling on one whole side of the head, and then by the time I get to the other side, I'm kind of like, Oh crap, what did I just do? Did I do a weave on that one? Did I do a slice? Did I do a larger subsection in between? So sometimes I like to go back and forth. That way I can make sure that I'm doing the same exact thing on both sides. You can see here we really just did 4 on this side and kind of like 3 on this side just because her hair is parted a little bit further over, and we left it at that. So just a little bit of some soft blending up into her roots. Check the foils if there's any brassiness where the roots are, just kind of go over it to give it that extra bit of lift. If you feel like you need to blast it with a blow dryer for a few minutes just to get it past that warmth really quickly, that's okay to do. I never put my clients underneath heat or anything. That kind of makes me feel like I'm out of control of the processing time, and usually it only hits the top of the head and it doesn't distribute evenly. So usually if I feel like I need to use heat, I'll just kind of go through every foil, hit it with some heat, move to the next foil, and let it finish sitting for about 5 minutes. So we're just going to pull these foils out, and you can see we just blended up into her roots a little bit, and we're going to do some Fanola No Orange and kind of pre-tone it and then tone her hair. Okay, so my client is, I just blue shampooed her with Fanola blue shampoo, and that's the first time I've used it, and I felt like it kind of helped tone down the brassiness. The blue shampoo is good for like levels probably 7 or 8, not necessarily like a level 10, so it cancels out like orange and like warmer tones like that. So I'm gonna tone her now, and she liked where she was at as far as like how her grow out was and everything. But right now we're going to tone her for just the brightest pieces that we've done. She already has a really nice blend from the last time that we did her hair, from like the root shadow into the other hair. So she kind of has warmer tones just because cooler tones always eventually fade to being kind of warmer. So I'm not going to tone her blonde pieces that we just did to be necessarily like super cool. I want to cool them down a little bit, but my goal is not to be super ashy like we normally do with her hair. I just want it to be nice and bright. So I think I'm going to do 10V and 9V, and because she already has so much warmth in her hair, I'm not going to go through with the rose gold. I'm not going to add any of that just because we don't need it. I normally would use Agora Vibrance, but just because of the week that I've been having, I haven't been able to make it to the beauty supply store to get any more toners or anything. So I'm just going to probably mix half and half 10V and 9V with the processing solution and let it sit for probably like 10 minutes or so. I'm gonna mix for that right now. So like I said, I hadn't been able to make it to the beauty supply store, so I'm gonna use my Paul Mitchell, the Demi, which I like. It does really great for blondes. They're really pretty colors, but I do prefer Agora Vibrance for canceling out warmth, and this actually did a pretty good job of blending and cooling the hair down, but I feel like the Agora Vibrance just really battles that warmth and everything, and it really eliminates it. So I would have preferred to have used that on her hair, but it wasn't gonna happen this time. So all in all, it still turned out good though. At this point, while she was toning, I was really happy to see that it was cooling down nicely. And so I did let it sit a little bit longer than I normally would, just to hopefully get it to cool down a little bit more. So I was really happy with how it turned out. I'm okay with it being not necessarily super cool and super ashy, which is what we normally do, just because she does have a lot more warmth in her hair. So my goal was to be okay if she still has a little bit of warmth in her hair, but my overall intention was to make sure that she feel nice and bright where we did lighten her hair, kind of like up in her root area, and brighten up some of those end pieces. So she'll still have a lot of dimension blending up into her roots, and then she'll have like the color that she previously came in with, those kind of warm ends, and then where we kind of softly ran the bleach through the ends, that will have brightened up through her ends in those spots. So then she'll have some really nice bright pieces kind of throughout her hair too. So this is a really great way to just kind of transition your clients from like fall to like spring hair, but not quite yet summery blonde hair. So she's gonna feel like she's kind of brightening up, but we're not quite yet there. We're still maintaining a lot of depth and dimension and natural roots and everything, and she'll still be able to go a little bit of ways without feeling like she needs to come in anytime soon. But when the time comes that she wants to go blonde, we'll be ready for that. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope this helps you guys with your clients that are wanting to come in and brighten up but not quite yet go fully blonde. So thanks so much for watching. Again, here's her before and here's her after with the natural lighting. You can see the warmth that's in there, kind of that mid shade that helps blend into her roots, and then the highlights that are just kind of breaking through it a little bit more. So I will see you guys on my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.